Welcome to Ms. Dupree's math class. Today we will be doing a review of rounding decimals and decimal places. These are the names of all the decimal places in case you've forgotten. Remember that we start at the decimal and we read either to the left or to the right. So to the left of the decimal we start with the ones place, then the tens place, then the hundreds place, thousands place, 10,000s place, 100,000s place, millions place, and on and on. When we go to the right of the decimal, we do not have a place that is equivalent to the ones. We start with the tenths, but then they go in the same order as they did to the left. So we have the tenths, then the hundredths, then the thousandths, then the 10,000ths, and on and on and on. A little poem for you to help you remember our rounding rules. Locate your number, look right next door, 5 or higher, add one more, 4 or lower, just ignore. So we're going to practice rounding a couple decimals. We're going to start with 15.553. I'm going to roll this die in the corner to see what number we're rounding to. We're going to round to the nearest whole number. So, whole number spot, that's right here where this 5 is. So we locate our number, we look right next door. So we're looking at the second 5. 5 or higher, add one more. So we're adding one more to that original number we were looking at. That becomes a 6. The 1 in front of it stays the same, and everything behind it turns into zeros. Since they're behind a decimal place, we don't need them. So let's try 4.872. Rounded to the nearest tenth. The tenth spot is this 8. Right next door is a 7. So that 7 means the 8 rounds up to a 9. So we get 4.9. 362.0846. This is hard to see, so we're going to look at it like this. We are rounding to the nearest whole number again. That's the 2. Right next door is a 0, so that means it stays 362. And let's look at 491.87. We're rounding to the nearest whole number again. That'll be this 1. We look right next door, it's an 8, which means it rounds up, making that into a 492. Now let's look at 0.04721. We're rounding to the nearest hundredth place. The 7 is in the hundredth place. We look right next door, it is a 2. That means we just ignore, which means it becomes 0.47. The 2 and the 1 became zeros, so we don't have to write them since they're behind the decimal. And for 92.458, we're rounding to the nearest hundredth again. That is the 5 here. We look right next door, it is an 8, which means it rounds up. Everything before that number stays the same, so it becomes 92.46. Now we're going to randomly generate a number, one more to round together. We're going to ignore the negative on this. So it's going to be 428.347. And we are going to round to the 10th. So in our 10th place, that is this 3. Look right next door, it is a 4. Since it is a 4, we just ignore. So the 4 to 8 stays the same. Decimal place stays the same, and we have a 3. The 4 and the 7 became 0, so I do not have to write them. Now we're going to do a little matching. Notice we're rounding to the nearest tenth. So 0.93, the 9 is in the tenths place, so it rounds to 0.9. 15.482, that 4 rounds up to a 5, so it becomes 15.5. 0.691, the 6 is in the tenths place, that 9 rounds it up to a 7, so we're looking at 0.7. 0.18, the 1 is in the tenths place, that 8 makes it round up to a 2, we have 0.2. 15.66, that first 6 is in the tenths place, the second one makes it round up to a 15.7. 0.447, that first 4 is in the tenths place, The second 4 means that it stays the same, so it's 0.4. 15.37, that 3 rounds up to a 4 because of the 7. And 0.53, the 3 means that the 5 stays the same. This time we are going to round to the nearest thousandth place. We have 19.16345. The thousandth place is where that 3 is. The 4 is right next door. That means the 3 stays the same. So we are rounding to 19.163. 0.3421 is going to round to 0.342. 0.00435. That 4 is in the thousandths place. It stays the same, so we have 0.004. 1.2546. That 4 is in the thousandths place. 6 makes it round up to 1.255. The 5.4658. That second 5 is in the thousandths place. The 8 makes it round up to a 6. So we have 5.466. 12.87433. The 4 is in the thousandths place. The 3 behind it means that it stays the same. So we have 12.874. For 0.86789, the 7 is in the thousandths place. That 8 makes it round up. So we're looking at 0.868. And the final one, 2.447788. That first 7 is in the thousandths place. The second 7 means that that one rounds up to an 8, leaving us with 2.448. Now these are some games we could play. I have them linked, but we are not going to play today. So enjoy your practice.